Welcome to A Quest for Metal. Today we're going to be reviewing the latest Ulcerate record, Stare Into Death and Be Still, out on Debbie Moore Morty Productions, April 24th. But it is out now, streaming on YouTube, on their official label. So you guys can check it out right now on YouTube before the actual release date, which is nice of them. So here's a little appetizer of what you can expect. Stare Into Death and Be Still is apt. It's an apt title because you're going to be still and looking dead while listening to this swirling mass of atmospheric, dissonant black metal, because this record is so hypnotic. Hypno would be proud because this fucker will drag you down and steal your dreams. So right off the bat, for all you who don't like atmospheric black metal or atmos shit, like some people like to call it, just tune off. Turn off the review. Don't worry about the album, because this is probably not for you. This is for people who love atmospheric black metal, for people who love bands similar to Deathspell Omega. If you love bands like that, then you're going to enjoy this album. If you're not a big fan of that kind of genre as a whole, you probably won't like this record. So getting that straight out of the way, let's get into the music. So all the tracks on here kind of bleed into each other. They transition so well from song to song. It's kind of an album you have to listen to in full. Play it in full, have an amazing time from start to finish, and it makes you want to play the album, by itself. You don't want to pick songs out, because some albums, they have melodic death metal a lot of the time. They have really standout songs, then a couple of songs which are kind of just But with a lot of atmospheric bands, kind of like Ulcerate, the whole album is fantastic. Every song is amazing, and you just want to listen to it all together, which is the same. The same can be said for this album, which is a masterpiece from start to finish. And kind of spoiler me saying that, but we'll get there. We'll get there. So yeah, basically the flow on this album is super smooth like butter. Now before I dive deeper into some of the songs that I'll talk about, I know I said the album as a whole, take it as a whole package, but we're still going to dissect some of the songs. But before I do that, look at that art. Isn't it just wonderful? I thought it was one of the best album arts of the year. The swirls, it kind of feels like black coffee, and I love black coffee and all the swirls on it. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's really artsy. It's nice. And then I looked deeper and I was like, wait a second. There's a person in there. I didn't even notice until my 12th look at the album cover that there was actually a person hiding in the swirls. And I just love it when bands do that in album art, and it makes you think and makes you look at the album art while you listen to the music. And it just complements the music so well. It's just really hypnotizing, just like the music I said. So hypnotizing album cover to match the hypnotizing music. But let's get into the songs. First off, we have Lifeless Advance, which kicks the album off and tells you exactly what you need to know for the upcoming mayhem. It starts off quite slow, but eases you into the vortex ahead. And then as soon as the vocals hit, it just goes full steam into just an amazing opening song. Let's give it a listen. The vocals are some of the most impactful I've heard in a metal band, really. They're aggressive and thunderous, but also slightly in the background, giving kind of a grandiose scale to everything. Makes it larger than life, almost like a Greek god is bellowing down at you. Fuck off, Zeus. And let's talk about the drumming. The drumming is frantic and furious. And all the time patterns are very odd. If you know Deathspell, bands of that nature. I'm going to say proggy. All the different time signatures, the melodies, everything is really irregular with these songs, which makes listening to them more interesting. Makes listening to it more interesting. It might put some people off as being a bit too chaotic, but there is beauty in chaos. And this album has tons of chaos and tons of beauty matched equally. The next track I'm going to talk about is Visceral Ends, and it's probably the most bleak, the most depressing, the most heart-wrenching out of all of them. It kind of reminds me of like a Catatonia song, but like dialed up to 11. It's a lot slower, darker, bleak and depressing, just the kind of buzzwords that I like. So let's give this one a listen. Ooh yeah, doomy, dark and depressing, just the way I like it. But my favourite song on the album has to be the closer. It has to be one of the singles that they released before the album actually, dropped. And that is Dissolved Orders. As soon as I heard this, I had to get the album. I had to get the album, I had to get the shirt, I had to get everything, because this song alone blew my mind. And then Stare Into Death and Be Still, the other single that came out, also blew my mind. So I was like, yeah, I have to get this album. And this song, Dissolved Orders, has the most trancey, hypnotic melody from the entire album, I think. It puts you in that state of just, whoa, whoa, and you can't help but enjoy it. So let's take a listen. Come on, how can you not just enjoy that and get lost in that melody? Really infectious, love that song to bits. So yeah, as a whole, the whole album flows really well from song to song, smooth as butter, like I said in the intro. Each individual song has its dark and depressing moments, but also its frantic moments with the furious drumming, the cool time signatures, the eerie guitar, and then the bellowing vocals of some Greek god in the background, which is the most intense vocals you're gonna hear ever. I mean, there's some intense vocals, say, on like the Black Curse album, which came out, which is really furious and like, whoa, intense. But then there's this, which is not as, frantic, but it's more aggressive, and it's more, as I said, it's like someone in the clouds screaming at you, like Mufasa is in there screaming at you. That's what it feels like, and it's absolutely spine-tingling. The album packs a massive punch, and if you're into Atmos shit like I am, then you're gonna have a good time with this album. So yeah, overall, there's no bad points on this album. I can't find anything wrong with it for my taste personally. I know some people, they wouldn't like the frantic nature of it, they wouldn't like how chaotic it is, they wouldn't like that all the tracks kind of bleed into each other, they might like songs to kind of stand out more. Whereas I like it like this. I like just putting an album on, relaxing, and just being enthralled in the music while looking at the amazing art. So for me personally, this is a 10. This is the first 10 on the channel. It's an easy 10. Like, there's no part of this album where I'm bored. There's no part of this album where I can kind of find flaws. Nothing. Like, vocals, 10. Drumming, 10. Guitar melodies, 10. I mean, there could be like cool solos, I guess, but it's not that kind of band. It's not a prog band, So take that out. The guitar in it is super melodic. The art's a 10. It's a 10. 10, first 10 on the channel. Momentous occasion, so go fucking buy it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed my review. What did you think of the latest Ulcerate record? Have you heard it? Let me know in the comments below what you thought. Also, let me know what your favourite album is so far this week. Any new ones you've heard? Any ones which you find shit? Let me know in the comments below, and we'll see you again on another Quest for Metal.